On this day in history, February 12, 1404, the Italian professor Galeazzo di Santa Sophie performed the first postmodern autopsy for the purposes of teaching and demonstration at the Heiligen Geist Spital in Vienna. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopaedia Britannica going over the practice of the autopsy. Autopsy, synonymous with post-mortem and necropsy, the examination of a dead body with the subject of determining the cause of death. This examination may be for legal purposes, or for the extension of knowledge. When autopsy is ordered by a coroner for legal purposes, the relatives have no option, but in most instances of patients dying in hospitals, the consent of the relatives is sought, and their decision, if negative, is rigorously observed. There is great difference amongst nationalities with regard to post-mortem examinations. In the United States, in Catholic countries, amongst Jews and Irish, there is great aversion towards autopsies, with the result that the advance of medical knowledge is seriously handicapped. In the absence of autopsy, a diagnosis of the cause of death is in large measure an opinion as distinguished from a fact. Even a physician of the highest skill often finds in the post-mortem room that his diagnosis of the patient's disease during life needs rectification. The knowledge he obtains, thus, he applies in future cases to the advantage of those patients. The performance of an autopsy calls for special knowledge and skill on the part of the pathologist, and besides inspection of various organs, microscopical, bacteriological, and chemical methods are employed where necessary, and a detailed report on the case supplements the clinical notes in the hospital records. The extent to which advance of knowledge depends upon the post-mortem examination is hardly realized. Thus, the entire range of cancer research depends upon an accurate diagnosis of cancer, which can only be made microscopically, and, in the case of the internal organs, depends either on surgical operation or an autopsy. In their absence, the diagnosis is at best conjectural. When post-mortem examination has been carried out by a skillful pathologist, there is no disfigurement, and the feelings of the relatives are considered to the fullest possible extent.